We're on websites all the time, but we mostly just see the final product, right? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit and look at something pretty fundamental. How does a simple, static page become a personal experience that feels like it was made just for you? So let's dig into that idea. A page built just for you. It all starts with a question that you've probably answered thousands of times without even realizing it. I mean, really, have you ever stopped to think about it? When you log in somewhere and the page says, "Welcome back, Sarah," it's not magic. It's actually a quiet little conversation happening behind the scenes. And that conversation is between two key technologies, HTML and PHP. Understanding this one little interaction is the key to seeing how the whole dynamic web really works. To really wrap our heads around this, let's use a simple analogy. Imagine we're building a house. You need two things: a solid blueprint for the structure and a brain to make it a smart, functional home. On the web, that's HTML and PHP. Okay, so first up, we've got HTML. This is our blueprint. It lays out the entire structure, where the walls go, where the windows are, the front door. It defines all the pieces and where they're supposed to be. Every single website you've ever visited, no matter how complicated, starts with this HTML foundation. It's the skeleton, the basic structure of the house. But a blueprint alone just gives you an empty, static house, right? To actually bring it to life, you need PHP. This is the brain of the whole operation, or you could think of it as the smart home system. It works completely behind the scenes, adding all the logic. It's the part that knows who you are, what's in your shopping cart, or even just what day it is. And this is really the key difference. HTML, our blueprint, defines the what, the static, unchanging structure of the page. But PHP, the brain, handles the how. It takes that blueprint and adds the logic to make the final result dynamic and personalized for every single person who visits. Okay, so we've got the blueprint and the brain. That's the big idea. But how does this partnership actually work when you, say, click on a link or type in a web address? Let's take a look. At its core, the entire web just runs on a simple back-and-forth conversation. Your browser sends a request for a page, and a computer somewhere else, called a server, sends back a response. Now, for a basic HTML page, it's just fetching a file. But when PHP gets involved, that conversation gets a whole lot more interesting. Let's walk through that conversation. First, your browser asks for a page that ends in .php. The server sees this and knows, okay, this isn't a simple file. I've got a job to do. And this is the most important part. The PHP code runs on the server. It might check a database for your name or look up the latest news. It uses that info to build a brand new, completely custom HTML page. Then, it sends only that finished HTML page back to your browser. Your browser never even sees the PHP code. It just gets a perfectly tailored result. So what do these special instructions look like? Well, here's a really simple example. This little piece of PHP is a command for the server. It just says, hey, before you send the final page, figure out what day of the week it is right now and write it in. It's that simple. But instead of the day, this could just as easily be your username or the items in your shopping cart. It's PHP building the final HTML on the fly. This whole process might seem kind of subtle, but this partnership between a static blueprint and a dynamic brain is what turned the internet from just a collection of documents into the interactive world we all live in today. And this quote really gets to why all this matters. The early web was mostly for reading stuff, like a giant digital library. But once server-side logic from languages like PHP came along, everything changed. Suddenly, the web could react to us. I mean, just think about it. Your social media feed, it's assembled for you by a server right in that moment. Your online shopping cart that remembers what you added yesterday, that's PHP. Search results that are tailored to you, same thing. And of course, login systems that greet you by name. Every one of these is an example of PHP working on a server to build a unique HTML page, just for that moment and just for you. So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, it's really about seeing something you use every single day in a new light, not as a bunch of static things, but as a constant, dynamic creation. Here's a little thought to take with you. The next time you log into a website and you see your name pop up on the screen, just take a second. Picture that server, somewhere out in the world, getting your request, running its PHP instructions, and building a fresh HTML page from scratch just to send it back to you. And that really is the whole story. We've gone from a web of static documents to a world of dynamic personal experiences. And it all happens in that quiet, invisible conversation between the blueprint and the brain. Thanks so much for watching.